Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. Let's see what's going on here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. All right. Let me just make sure. Should Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. Can you hear me? Knock if you can hear me. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get started. There we are. Okay. All right. Doing a live tonight. We're going to be talking about no mass immigration to America. It's not going to happen. We already know that Trump has done a great job shutting down the border. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He done an excellent job shutting down the border, making sure no more entry into America and things. So I'm gonna wait for some people to come into the chat and things. And while you're coming into the chat, yeah, we're just basically just talking about illegal immigration. These are people, they want to dress up the terms undocumented immigrants, which are illegal, which is criminal, and we're going to be talking about it. So the Trump administration, as we already know, have waged war. I should say war, but wage assault to round up illegals in this country, you know. So all or any illegals that are hiding out, you know, because if they find you, chances for you coming to America, it's going to hurt your chances in coming into America. And we're going to talk about it, though, too. As soon as other people come into the chat and things, I've been a little late because I wanted to do this thing early, but you know how it is, though, too. So I appreciate if you guys would put a like down in there as soon as you come into the room. Please hit the like button. I really appreciate it. You guys have been doing a pretty good job hitting the like button. I don't really ask for much. As you guys can see, that is my Cash App thing down below, though, too. So if you are feeling generous, please, you know, you can put down there for a cup of coffee. However, that's cool, you know. So yeah, I prefer it this way actually, and things. So therefore, whatever I get, you know what I'm saying? Therefore, I don't have to share it with YouTube and things. But even though YouTube is going to give me an opportunity one day when I get monetized, but no big deal. I just enjoy doing this and things like that. But yeah, so other than that, I'm just gonna wait for some other people to come into the room tonight. Yeah, because I'm actually starting it. This is like Monday, almost Tuesday here, you know. Man, it's the 1st of September already. There's one person into the room already. Welcome to the chat. But yeah, but that's the thing about it. You know, it's already September the 1st. September the 1st already though. Can you believe it? Man, we like going into fall here. I hope everybody had a great weekend, Labor Day weekend. I barbecued myself, just kind of relaxed and chilled out. I didn't really work very much. I just took the day off, you know what I'm saying? So that's pretty cool. Took the day off. Yeah, but yeah, so I'm gonna wait for some people to find me into the room here and things like that. Once the people start pouring in, I wanted to do my live earlier, but you know how it is when you're spending time with family, barbecue, and things like that. So it's a tradition. Most people from America know what I'm talking about. But yeah, but we're going to talk about a very, very important issue here, which is no mass immigration. So you're starting to hear a lot about the no mass immigration. In fact, UK, over in the UK, they already been talking about it over there already. They're over there protesting. And UK, Australia, Canada, and things like that, man. I got a friend. I talked to my friend from Canada. You know, he actually married a Canadian. That's why he's over there. But he's a Canadian citizen now. And I talked to him earlier today, and me and him was talking about this whole illegal immigration stuff. Canada, man, is so bad over there, man. They are welcoming so many people. And right now, the big talk is that they have a huge mass immigration in Canada as well. In fact, it's so bad in Canada, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I'm seeing like they're starting to call parts of Canada like a new India, which we're going to talk about that as well too, and things. So yeah, man, mass immigration, ladies and gentlemen, is never a good thing, though. This is something that's been pushed on to the people, just like it was pushed in America. Because when you have a influx of immigrants, right, and they haven't been vetted properly, they haven't gone through the proper channels of being a citizen, things can get very hairy and scary, if you know what I'm saying. Because like with America, anybody that see how America is and things like that and see what America is doing, let that be, the template for anybody else in the world. Because at one time we did have a huge mass immigration issue here that really was pushed by the previous government, which was the Biden administration. One of the worst disaster administration out there is the Biden administration, because at the time Kamala Harris was the vice president, and she called herself the border czar. By her calling herself the border czar, she was the one that pushed her and their policies under Biden. At one time in America, it was like the mass immigration. And we got to talk about it because that's the thing. Um, I mean, when you start really looking at this thing, though, they pushed over 15 million people into this country. And this is why America was having problems. We couldn't sustain with, let's say, undocumented, however you want to call them. Well, under the Biden administration, they were just giving them what we call you got welfare, you got other subsidies that they were getting, and it bypassed over the regular American people. This was another failed Democratic policy, ladies and gentlemen, and it had to be stopped because I'm glad that it stopped, because it couldn't go on much longer. It couldn't sustain itself, and it was going to be a problem eventually, because what's going to end up happening is that you're going to start having American people uprising more so than ever. But, that's one thing about it. Since Trump, and we voted for Trump, in fact, he ran on that policy with the mass deportation. Trump ran on that policy, right? And thank God that he got in, because I'm going to tell you something. America was going to fall within, because we had psycho criminals over here. We had gang members. We had a lot of people that should not have been in the country. They were running loose in this country, and they were causing havoc. They was causing all type of things. We're talking about rape and being unalived and everything. All this stuff was going on here in America at one time. That's why I'm so glad for no, right? No mass immigration, because any country that's pushing mass immigration, it's going to end up being a problem. Look at Canada. Canada have a huge, they've been having it for years too. Canada welcome in anybody in their country or whatever. Rightfully so, because Canada doesn't have the population as America does, That's one thing about it. Most of your population, 80% of your Canadians live along the border. So 80% of your Canadians live along the border of the United States on the other side. So if you look at Ontario and a lot of these other places, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, you started seeing all these particular cities, or I'm sorry, provinces, they're all up on the border. They're on the border right there. So 80% of Canadians, what I'm saying, live right alongside of the border of the United States. So they don't have the population that the United States does. This is one of the things that they was kind of welcoming everybody. and they welcome in everybody, and then you start seeing what's happening and stuff like that, because I know Canadians. I talked to. I said it earlier. I talked to a friend of mine that's actually Canadian, right? We was having a conversation. We're talking about immigration stuff that I'm talking about right now, and me and him was talking how there's a large amount of Indians that live in Canada too. In fact, they were calling it New India, and things like that. Now, the problem is simply this. I'm not singling out a group, but I got to put some highlight on this, man, because we have to talk about it. Remember, I said in my other lives, the problem with immigration, my biggest pet peeve is that they don't know how, or they were never taught to assimilate into America. Just like for some of you guys, if you're Canadian, your government should have been emphasizing how to simulate becoming a Canadian citizen. Because when you leave India or if you leave any other country and you come to a new country, you just don't keep you keep your let's say culture, religion at home. But when you're out and about, you are a Canadian or American citizen, right? And that's how it's supposed to be, right? Your job is to learn the English, right? Now Canada is dual, it's like dual, it's like English and French. So in their case, you got to learn these languages, right? With us, we're not, as you already know, in America, it's just English. Spanish was never a dual language in America. You go to some European countries, may have dual, you know what I'm saying? But America is not one of them. It's been dubbed that English is the official language. So the job is their job to assimilate into American society, right? Just like in Canada and the rest of them. Have they done that very well? No, they have not. The biggest pet peeve I have, my friend is a truck driver. He worked for an Indian truck driving company. Worst mistake ever, right? So he was given a truck, smelled bad, had old chicken bones and everything like that. And it has been said before with some of the truckers that I know. With the Indians, the problem is that what they call it, it's like civil, it's civil, well, we have like, what is it? I'm trying to see what the word is. It's a civil, I guess you could say, civil savvy or civil, it's a word for it, right? Behavior. I think that's what it is, right? Because in India, right? And we already know, like, there's people that have been there. It's not the most pleasant thing, though. You got trash and other type of things, and it's really, really bad. You can't drink the water there. There's a lot of other things going on over there. What they end up doing is they bring their coat, they bring that over here, right? There could be a trash can, they won't use a trash can. They just throw stuff on the ground, throw food on the ground, take a poop or whatever outside. That's why they got a public service announcement trying to encourage Indian people not to poo in the loo. I'm not kidding. It's called No Poo in the Loo. I'm not kidding. You can pull this up. No poo in the loo. They had to have a public service announcement in their country not to poo in the loo, meaning poop in the the loo. It's like the water fountain or whatever they got over there, or in the in the water. And this is one of the reasons why you can't drink the water, because if everybody's pooping in lakes or whatever it is, and that same water get recycled in, it's the horriblest thing ever. Now, this is why I won't touch the street food at all. There's no way in the world that I would go over there, let alone eat the street food, because I don't want a belly full of parasites. I could ruin a whole vacation in India because of the pollution and everything, though. So they had to have this public service announcement about not to poo in the loo, you know what I'm saying? Poo in the water. So, I mean, as a first world nation where we have sanitization and other things, you know, we got restrooms and bathrooms. I mean, I get it. They're third world. I get it. You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing about it, though. If I mean, same thing with Mexico. You can't drink the water there. I'd be damned if I go over there and you know what I'm saying, and buy street food over there, right? So I'm just kind of making some points. When they're coming over here, somebody will have to educate them and how to simulate properly when you have your proper paperwork. You know what I'm saying? They pay a lot of money in these countries to come over here illegally, man. And they're still doing it, but it's very difficult to get through here. They go through other countries getting here. Most of the time, they go through the southern border. But now that that's being occupied by the military, it's very difficult to enter in the southern border. It's very difficult like that. So that's one good thing about it. But let's go ahead and go and dive in further. That's why when we start looking at the policies in America, it had to be stopped. We had to stop the illegal migration into America, because if it wouldn't have stopped, ladies and gentlemen, America, it was starting to become a third world, right? Because some of our own government, on you know what side that is, it's the left side. They sold us out, lock, stock, and bond, and they were giving all these set asides to who? We're talking about illegal immigrants right now. They were giving all that set aside programs that they should not have been getting, as well as Medicare, and they were getting all these health benefits and being illegal. I never seen a thing like it at all. You know what I'm saying? You would never see this in certain countries at all. But this was going on here in America. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to talk about that more. Talk about some of these immigrants that are not really immigrants because they over here illegal. You know, just like I already talked about. I mean, you guys, if you, whoever is listening, remember we already had a conversation already about some of these Indians and the truck driver that killed all those people. He never, once again, he never simulated into American culture. You know what I'm saying? And this is the problem right here. There's a health issue as well, because if they do not have the civic behavior of sanitization and what not to do, you just can't take your grease and just rub it on your shirt or rub it on a dirty rag. That's not clean. That's not clean. And we don't play that here, because this is how germs and stuff spread. And this is another thing. When I say about learning how to assimilate, it's just like when I go to Japan, right? There's some things that you do not do in Japan. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that, I mean, by now, being on a public transit system in Japan, because if I'm visiting Japan, I got to follow the customs over there, is what I'm trying to say. You know, just for visiting, right? I got to follow the customs over there. So when they say no talking on the train system, there's no talking. There's no answering the phone. Everybody is quiet. It's the weirdest thing ever, but everybody is quiet. Everybody observing the customs over there, right? Because that is a person's job. When you're a foreigner, I'm a foreigner when I go to Japan. I'm not a foreigner in America, but in the Japan, I'm a foreigner. I'm a foreigner in China. Any country that's not my country, I'm a foreigner. So that means that I have to abide by the rules. I just can't bring my nasty behavior into other countries, because in Japan, it's very clean. They don't play that stuff. And this is one of the main reasons that certain ethnic groups people do not like. They shy away and shun them just because of the being nasty, being disrespectful, you know, and all the rest of it go right along with it. People forget, even when you're visiting somebody's country, that don't give you the right to treat their country like where you come from, man. That's ignorant. You know what I'm saying? That's rude and ignorant, right? And this is what have annoyed a lot of Americans, because when they're coming over here, you heard the stories about now let's talk about another group. You have the Haitians, right? What's wrong with this picture? If I'm over, what they doing over here killing geese and stuff and cats and all the rest of the stuff? You can't do that stuff like what you would do in Haiti, whether they're doing it or not. I'm using this as an example, right? Because I do believe that they were over there doing that. When you in America, You got to leave your customs of how you do stuff in Haiti at home. You can't do that over here in America. We don't play that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is another thing. And I'm using these as an example because once again, they are foreigners coming over here. First and foremost, you have to learn the customs, you have to learn the language, right? You have to learn, and there's a lot of other things, especially if you're going to be an American citizen. Whether you coming over, I'm talking about legally now. Some of you coming over here legally, I'm talking about legally, right? You coming over here to America, you must, what is it? Learn the customs when you come over here. That's just how it is. And the first thing, learn the customs in America and learn the language. You will go far in America once you learn the customs and learn the language, you know? And that's the thing about it. They have not been taught this. They haven't been vetted properly. This is another issue. And there's no reason in the world we should be getting gang members coming into the country and doing the same thing. Because at the time, America was under the old regime, right? We dialed back 4 years ago. America was like, it was so easy to go through customs. Nobody took it seriously. You can do, when you come to America, you do whatever you want to do. And this was the attitude. Now there's different changes today, and they're finding out today that like with the deportation, right? They got the little app that they can use to self-deport because the well is run dry now. How can you be illegal now and still try to make a way of make a living? I mean, there's under the table jobs, but you're always looking over your back first and foremost, right? You stand out because you don't know the English, right? You got to drive. Some of them been driving really slow, which warrants the police. It gets the police involved and want to pull you over and say, "Why are you driving so slow?" You know what I'm saying? Why you didn't observe that traffic sign when it said stop? Because some of them that come over here, they haven't learned the language. And that is my biggest pet peeve. There's people that have been here like 10, 15 years and they still don't speak English at all. You know what I'm saying? Because we have this subculture thing, which is Spanish here in this country. For example, you can go over there to LA, East Los Angeles, and Arizona. There's places where they can go where they can get away with just speaking Spanish, and that's it, right? Take undercover jobs, oranges, whatever the case may be. And they can go out here and do these jobs or whatever like that and somewhat be undetected. But as you can see, because ICE is involved now, so a lot of them are kind of leery going out there and going to work. Because if you are illegal, you have to watch your back. You got to be careful, right? Because there's the previous government, I should say, they set this up. They allowed this to happen. And what should have happened, they should have been educated enough and say, hey, you got to learn English. You have to learn things about the law of the land, right? You can't do the stuff that you used to do in your country. It's like you're an American now. You have to know about the American flag, Star Spangled Banner. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that Americans got to know, really. You know what I'm saying? So other things, presidents, because when you take that test and become an American citizen, my buddy did it, and he's from China. And I know if he can do it, you know what I'm saying? You know how hard it is knowing, speaking Chinese all your life, Mandarin Chinese, and then you have to learn English. And for most Chinese, it's more difficult for them to learn English because, phonetically with tones, there's certain words that Chinese people have trouble with saying. One of them is the letter R, like Robert. They said Robert, they can't say the word. They can't say the word R. Certain words, Spanish, they have a hard time with Spanish too, because with rolling your tongue, they can't do it. Most of your in China, they can't do it. Very difficult for them because their tongue and how they speak Mandarin, their tongue got to be flat. So phonetically saying words would be very difficult for them. I know this because me and my friend from China talk about it all, not all the time, but sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you guys being in the room tonight. I started this live real late, but it's all good. This is just something I wanted to just kind of talk amongst people and things like this. But yeah, it's just one of those type of things, though, ladies and gentlemen, as we're talking and stuff like that. But yeah, I just, talking about, you know, um, some of the other issues, but I really want to see when people are here legally, I really want to see them assimilate into American culture. I really do because I think that by them not doing it, it's to me it's disrespectful. If I'm going to go to Japan, and I have guys that lived in Japan, they told me they say, hey man, if you're going to live in Japan, they're going to require you have to know Japanese. If you're going to work in Japan, live in Japan, and you got to know how to read kanji. About 6,000 kanji is enough for you to get by in Japan, right? I got to use these countries as an example because over there, they don't. You're gonna conform over and simulate into Japanese culture and society over there. When you ride the transit over there, there's no talking. There's no talking. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, it looked like I got myself a ride here, man. Yeah, sorry about that. Yep. So yeah, you guys are probably hearing my thing right now, but yeah, I gotta go pick up this passenger. But I said, yeah, it looked like this live is gonna be a real short live tonight. But yeah, I appreciate you guys coming on and things. I gotta go pick this passenger up and drop him off. But yeah, I really wanted to talk about this before I get to my destination and stuff. Yeah, I'm on the horizontal, but I'm still over here. I figured out a way that I can do it on my mobile app too while I'm in my car. You guys can't see me tonight because the last time I was sitting over here in the dark, practically. But you can see my avatar though, so that's good enough for right now. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, just talking about it and things. So let me see here. Yep. So go ahead and pick this person up. Give me one moment. All right, so I'm back. Just gonna go and pick this passenger up right now. Yeah, but yeah, it's kind of cool that I can actually use my StreamYard thing on my phone too, though. Make it a little bit more of a pleasant experience being on here, dropping a link down, getting people to come up. Which I'm gonna start doing that very soon, getting other people to come on here and things, talking about the issues and stuff like that. I sure will. But yeah, so yeah, but that's the thing about it. I'm just kind of using examples of some things or whatever because I know what Japan, they were almost going to open it up to some of the African countries. Yeah, they were going to actually open it up. You know, I think a lot to do with the resources, but they decided to change their mind, though, man, because I think mass immigration